On this week's edition of Why Do You Exist, we have a Casablanca Clairemont. Kind of looks like a Victorian, right? Except, nope. This one has a spinner motor and a big old 188 by 15 or 188 by 20. I'm not sure which. I'm thinking it's a 188 by 20, judging by the high speed. But, yeah, why does this thing exist? I have a theory as to why this thing exists. That theory is simple. Back in the 90s, there was an abominable line known as the Next Generation series. The Casablanca Next Generation series. These are a bunch of fans with spinner motors that were made by Halsey. This is one of them, except it's not a Next Generation fan. I feel like this one was supposed to be a Next Generation fan, the Casablanca Next Generation, except that line was, thankfully killed off. God, I hate that shit. But anyway, yeah, so this didn't quite make it. So this was badged as its own thing. It was introduced in, I think, 1996. And it lasted in 1999. So, yeah, I think this one is a 97. Almost certain this one's a 97. So, yeah, so the real question is, why the hell did Casablanca make or think the Next Generation line would actually work? Casablanca was top tier. Okay? First rate. Why would they make a cheaper line? Well, I guess, Casablanca was also expensive. So I'm thinking, maybe, just maybe, and there, of course, here's our Casablanca badge. Yeah, the point of the Next Generation line really was to offer a cheaper alternative to their mainline offerings. Okay. Cheaper. Okay, so they tried it. They used a couple of recycled Homestead designs. They failed miserably. The Next Generation line only lasted a couple of years. However, this thing made its way into the main line in tandem with the actual Victorian. Needless to say, this was a sales flop as well. There weren't too many Clairemonts sold. Although I have seen them in the wild, they're not common creatures at all. It used the same castings as the Victorian, the same top and bottom plate, and the same sideband, same switch housing, okay, except Halsey's are weird. Because the top plate has provisions for it looks like a stack motor, except there's no stack motor there. And that's exactly what this has. In fact, I'll see if I can get you a view of the top here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's what the top looks like. You'd think, oh, stack motor? Nope. Oh, 4 bolts? Nope, nothing up here, just a plate. Typical Halsey fashion. Don't ask me why they did that, they just did. So yeah. This thing is a big why. Especially since a 188 by 20, it gives you the same power as a KA55 or an XLP, so so this fan this is the classic white finish. It's all classic white, which is something the Victorian did not come in. It came in 4 finishes. Came in bright brass, antique brass, white and bright brass, or snow white and bright brass, and, classic white and bright brass, and then all classic white. Yeah, so this finish is unique to the Clairemont. Of course, down the road, the Victorian would come in architectural white, but that's a different story, so yeah. So let's see how this thing performs, shall we? Yeah. In typical Casablanca fashion, it's low, medium, high, off. Now this one, for whatever reason, has a really fast low speed. I mean, it's probably doing 100 RPM already. Like, this low speed really is a normal Casablanca's medium speed. So, what the hell what were they thinking when they tuned this fan? Like, if I have it long enough, and I might, who knows, I'm going to drop that capacitor value, because it needs a slower low speed. This is ridiculously fast. Yeah, this is freaking low speed. Now, one thing I will note, it's dead silent. You would think a spinner motor would be a little louder. No, Halsey knew what they were doing. I'll go to medium. So on medium speed is basically your normal Hunter high speed. About 170 RPMs, maybe 175, right? God, this RPM range is horrifically bad. Right now, let's go to high. Of course, high speed is about 200 RPM, your typical Casablanca high speed. Now, what kind of surprises me with this fan is the fact that there's no real wobble, considering how warped the blades are from being bound together with shrink wrap. This thing does not wobble, and that shocks me. I mean, I will probably take the blade set and de-warp them or just replace them entirely, because I'm sure I have some classic white standards sitting around somewhere. There's the furnace. Cool. So, I mean, yeah, but no wobble at all, which, again, this is weird. I was expecting it to shake. Yes, a slight hint, but it is very, very subtle. And now let's turn it off. Now, being a Halsey spinner fan, or spinner motor fan, it's 5-blade only. Which, I mean, kind of sucks, but, yeah, you know. Now, what's interesting is this fan is basically the same fan. It's the same thing as the St. Clair that was sold at, under the Hampton Bay label at Home Depot. Or the Portsmouth, whatever the higher end variant of the fan was that had the hang-true canopy or pseudo hang-true canopy. Now this one comes with a standard hang-true, but these irons, these are unique to the St. Clair, to the Halsey version of the Victorian knockoff. Which, you know, and another thing, this same fan, right, when I saw this sitting, you know, shrink wrapped at some place, I thought it was a craft-made Presidential 2, in which case I would have ignored it. And I also thought maybe it's a Minka. Nope, neither. Then I saw the Casablanca badge, and I'm like, oh, it's a Clairemont. Okay then, cool. At first I got excited thinking it was an architectural white Victorian, but can't be so lucky. So, yeah. Gist of the story here is, yep, Casablanca tried to make a cheaper Victorian and sold it right next to the standard normal Victorian. Guess which sold better? The Victorian. Because this had that quote-unquote direct drive motor, whereas the Victorian had the XLP 2000, so yeah, the better motor sold better. So, but again, why they thought this would sell is anyone's guess, but it has made for a bit of a curiosity, to say the least. But there you have it. A classic white Casablanca Clairemont.